Hey everyone, and welcome to Fizz Feedback Lockdown Edition, Episode 1. Hi Liz, McCurry.
Hi Will Goldstone, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm enjoying being at home, just like you, I bet.
Yeah, home's good. I like the balance of our homes. You're going for like a dark theme, and I'm like a light theme.
Yeah, mine's pro, yours personal. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So Liz and I, of course, much like yourselves, on lockdown. This is recorded in 2020 when things are super horrible and weird. And we like to hang out. So we thought we'd bring you in and carry on the old Fizz Feedback podcast on the YouTube. And also we'll maybe put the audio up. Not too sure yet. This is just a bit of a test. So we'll see how it goes.
Bit of a pilot.
Yes. And pilot. We might keep it. We might no. So, Liz, how are you?
I'm all right. I mean,
Good.
It's been a busy day. It's been a busy day. So, my tea has been a packet of chicken and some popcorn. So I think that about sums up how I am.
So it's not quite popcorn chicken, but to the untrained ear, popcorn and some chicken.
Well, KFC's shut and it's all I've got. So.
Okay, fair enough. What are you playing at the moment? Tell me stuff.
I am playing. So I finished the Resident Evil 3 remake in like literally a day. It took me 7 hours and I absolutely loved it.
Wow.
I'm not going to say too much because I know you're playing through Resi 2 and
Yes.
Resi 3 is next. But Resi 3 was one of my favourites, if not my favourite, along with 4. And, I covered it in the Halloween episode. Absolutely.
Good.
And I thought that the remake was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. Enjoyed every second.
Do they still have, what's his name, Carlos, doing really bad voice acting?
I love Carlos. I loved Carlos in the original because he was just a bit of a flirt and just said inappropriate things.
Hey lady, I'm no zombie.
Yeah, he's amazing. All the foxy ladies dig my accent.
They don't know where it's from, but they dig it.
But in this one, he's all right.
Oh, good for him.
He's a good
2020 little reboot.
Yeah, Carlos has definitely been 2020'd.
Has he? Okay.
Yeah. He does. There is a bit where Jill's like, "How am I going to put out this fire?" That's not how she speaks. And he's like, "Well, you're a tall glass of water, ain't you?" And that's about as flirty as he gets. And she calls him an asshole. So
doesn't that just mean that you're tall? What does that mean?
And a bit flaccid.
Flaccid? Is that what you mean? Oh, this is going well.
Pardon. Oh no! Now we have to. Now we have to pull with the Zoom. When there's a bit of delay. I can't talk over you properly now, like I usually would.
No, it's just gotten slightly worse than it ever was. So yeah, Liz, yes, the remake. How is it? It looks amazing, to be fair.
They're good, absolutely. Yeah, having a great old time. Like 7 was never my favorite, so I'm not too precious. I'm just enjoying playing another like JRPG, but having enough nostalgia to be enjoying it. But yeah, what about thee?
I'm busy making my game and not playing the games, to be honest with you. All my spare times in the game dev at the moment, but I haven't got anything to show or talk about just yet. So
you've had some stuff on your twits.
Yeah, I might do a screenshot Saturday tomorrow and show off the title screen thing that I'm tinkering with. I'm quite happy with it. And yeah, so let's get on with the games. If you're not
disclaimer.
Okay, do the disclaimer.
Not prepared. Usually, I've got my essay. I've got my reflective essay.
Yeah. Usually, Liz has got a dodgy dossier full of all of her facts, and I've surprised her by just saying, "Let's just use Zoom and let's just do a podcast, and it'll be great and it'll be fine." with about an hour's notice. And we're both too busy to have prepared because for some reason, even though we've got lots of spare time, we're filling it with all kinds of stuff. So I'm similarly unprepared, but I've got a game that's down here.
You have it?
There it is. Yeah. Serve it.
Do it again. I'll do it with my zooming eyes. Third time lucky. Yeah. Metal Gear Solid.
No.
Oh.
No, I've been busy. Like you can't quite see because it's super low res, but over there on the shelf, I've been collecting lots of my old PC games because I knew at some point we'd come back to doing this feedback, and I would want to talk about all of these things.
Yeah.
So I've got to my game, and I'm going to open the big box edition of whatever game it is when I talk about it shortly. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I think you should go first. We'd have a strong start.
Okay. Well, Liz, I have brought to you 1995's
it's a good year.
Star Wars Dark Forces.
You tricked me! This isn't what you said that you were going to do.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, no, I just decided like a minute ago. So, what did I say? I forgot that I told you what we were going to do, but okay.
You tricked me. Star Wars Dark Forces, never heard of it. My nephew would love it. Tell me more.
Star Wars Dark Forces was a first-person shooter. It came out in 1995. I am unboxing right now. So I got a copy of this from the Electronic Bay, where you can find all sorts of used items. And my favorite thing about this purchase is that the person who sent it to me has left in their walkthrough what they have printed off on their 1995 inkjet printer.
That's adorable, and I love that.
I'm quite impressed. I was thinking it would have been like a dot matrix printer back then, but yeah, it's got like, it's one of those sort of like game facts things, like here's all the missions, here's how to get through it. So I'm glad they included that. That was nice of them.
Sweet.
And there's also something that I really don't understand, because this game was in 1995, ergo it was a PC CD-ROM game. There's the CD, goes in your ROM, stick it in your old ROM. There's Boba Fett on the back, having a great time. But for some reason, there is a 5 3/4 inch disc included that says Dark Forces boot disc. And I don't get that, because this would have been after, like, I don't know, at least 5 or more years after computers used the big old literally floppy disk, which is floppy. So I don't know what that is. I might actually get in touch with the eBay and say, what?
I'm a little bit worried that you've become embroiled in like a government conspiracy. Like if you trace through the 5th letter of every line of that document, is it going to spell out?
What you mean in the walkthrough actually just says
you have been chosen.
GSOGITO. It's so good to go. I don't think there's a code. There's probably a deciphering key that I need to use, which might be inside. There's a hint. Manual coded transmissions.
What is this? Yeah, sorry, Will. You are caught in a conspiracy theory you didn't ask for. Well,
I'm happy to be there.
I'll say I told you so. I won't be there, but I'll say it.
Liz, I'm going to tell you about the game right now.
Yes, please.
So this was back in 1995 when LucasArts were making all kinds of wonderful games. They'd been making the X-Wing games and TIE Fighter, and then they made X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which is also on my shelf back here. Love it. And then they sort of branched out and said, okay, let's make a first-person shooter. So Doom had come out 93, so this is a couple of years later. And this had kind of similar graphics, but it had a few things over Doom. So in this game, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, you play as Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn is a character that then carries on in the sequel. So the Dark Forces 2 was Jedi Knight, and then I think they did sequels to Jedi Knight as well. I wasn't as into them, honestly. I think I love Dark Forces more than all the others. But basically, you were and this is what I like about it, you're a defecting stormtrooper who becomes a mercenary. So immediately you're like, oh, okay, well that's a piece of Force Awakens, because that's Finn's character. And then also you are responsible for stealing the Death Star plans, which is part of Rogue One.
And what you've
So like
probably done as well.
well, exactly, yeah, by accidentally ordering something on eBay. But yeah, so this game, you play this kind of mercenary character. It sort of weaves you into bits of because obviously the first three films were all that was out back then. This is prequels even. And it was so it's a first person shooter. You can see on the back of the box there that it is kind of their Doom style graphics. But what you'll notice is that there's bits of things that are proper 3D. So like more complex buildings, there was height to the maps. So in Doom, you were kind of always on one level, kind of traversing along, and you couldn't really jump or look around. Whereas in Dark Forces, you could look around, you could jump, and the levels had sort of more verticality to them. And the other thing that it had over Doom was that there were polygonal dynamic things. So like there was like a drop ship that would come in and it was proper 3D. So you could kind of
that's really cool.
walk around and look around it, or it would be animating. But in Doom, that was just, there was only things like, the environment itself. Everything else is billboarded. Dark Forces isn't the same in that way. So there's all sort of billboarded enemies and stuff. But they made their own engine for this. They called it the Jedi engine.
Oh my gosh, please tell me that's still around in some capacity.
Maybe, I don't know. It was a 3D engine by Ray Gresco. It's nice. They've got all like the actual like lead people on the back of the box, which is pretty cool. Lead artist Justin Chin, project leader Darren Stinnett, and 3D engine Ray Gresco.
Could you please read me the back of the box? I love a bit of a back of the box blurb.
Oh yeah. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Experience first-person firepower in the Star Wars universe.
Oh.
Behind a veil of secrecy, the evil empire is creating a doomsday army, one that, if finished, will become the final cog in the empire's arsenal of terror and domination. So I thought that was what the Death Star was, but lo and behold, they've got a plan B. Pretty good. Okay, there's more. Your mission: join the Rebel Alliance covert. I'm turning into Jack Bauer. God damn it! Been watching 24, and
you're joining the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, join the Rebel Alliance Covert Operations Division. Infiltrate the Empire, then battle. Fucking hell! Battle. Can't read. Battle every man and machine the Imperial forces could muster. Search a vast galaxy for clues. Attack enemy bases, all in a desperate attempt to stop the activation of this fearsome new weapon. So yeah.
But so for someone that's the only Star Wars film they've seen is Caravan of Hope, are you on the good side or the bad side?
What's Caravan of Hope?
With the Ewoks, isn't it though?
That's Return of the Jedi, Liz.
No, it's called
what the fuck is Caravan of Hope?
Yeah, there is. It's just like
I'm gonna Google this immediately. The film that's just about the Ewoks, like the spin-off thing. Okay. Hang on. I'm googling.
But are you a good guy or a bad guy in this game? Or in Star Wars?
You're a good guy. It's called Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure.
I don't know what the Caravan of Hope is then.
You're mixing up A New Hope, which is the first film, and Return of the Empire Ewok Strikes Back, as it's otherwise known.
Just the Ewoks, they were cute.
So yeah, you're a bit of a Han Solo, you're a bit of a mercenary dude, Kyle Katarn, and yeah, you're out to just kind of undermine. I think you're basically like, oh no, you don't know Star Wars, but you're basically like Jyn Erso in Rogue One, which is the best Star Wars film since the first three. Sorry?
Sounds like a brand of fabric softener.
It isn't.
Sounds like
I'm just going to see if there's any more exciting tidbits about the story inside the manual, coded transmissions.
Is it canon?
Document that comes with it. No, well, unfortunately, as of the sequels, episode 7 onwards, they destroyed all of this stuff by declaring it not canon. And that is all of the what they call Star Wars EU extended universe things. So this and all of the lovely novels and other things that went on are all just not acknowledged anymore, which is complete nonsense. But oh well.
So anything outside of the cinematic universe, so even like Star Wars Battlefront and stuff that is still ongoing now, is just kind of.
I don't know how they consider Battlefront really, because Battlefront, yeah, it's kind of off to one side as well. It's a really good question. I'm not too sure.
Only Lucas was here to answer. Ding
Well, he would
dong.
probably just say,
Imagine.
it's all part of my original vision. I don't know why he's the guy from Men in Black. When they do that impression. Pet cat. That means the world to me.
Oh, I love Men in Black.
Edgar, your skin is hanging off your bones. Like this. Love that guy. Love that guy. Seems to be an infestation problem here.
I need to watch that film again. I really like the third one. That one's really good. In fact, I was having
You and you alone like the third one.
Oh, I really liked the third one. It was really good.
Okay. So yeah, Dark Forces I absolutely loved. I spent hours playing this game. It's just a really good sort of Doom era first person shooter. The weapons feel great. The effects are cool. It's Star Wars, so it's got an extra bit of buzz about it. But there was just really good effects, like the thermal detonator, which is the grenade in this game. Is like one of the best grenades in any game ever. It's just great fun.
How's it different from a normal grenade?
It's thermal, so it keeps you warm when you're using it. I don't know. It's got a little. It's got a great design. It's like a big Christmas bauble, and you twist it, and then it goes, and then you throw it. It's great.
That's cool.
It's just got a nice feel to it. Good design.
And do your friends show up like regulars of the show?
No, I think so. So I was cheekily watching a little YouTube retrospective about it before I started the call. They were going to do it about Luke Skywalker, and then they kind of canned all that and decided to do this kind of like offshoot thing, so that they weren't involving the original characters, which I think is a great decision. But there are a few characters that pop up. I'm sure there were that were from the films. Yeah, I mean, Mon Mothma's in here, so she was like their admiral. Some Star Wars nerds are going to be mad at me now. It's like, oh, Mon Mothma's not actually an admiral; she's a something or other. But yeah, she was like the commander of the Rebel Alliance, and so she's in there giving you missions and things. So there's like bits that tie it to the films.
Okay.
So yeah,
and is
also instructions here for Thrustmaster joysticks.
I love a manual.
I know you do. You love a
manual. Where has he gone? Why don't we do them anymore?
I know. But yeah, it's got all your favourites. It's got your stormtroopers, it's got your probe droids, your interrogation droids, all of that jazz. Your whatever that your Christmas baubles in there.
Don't enjoy
and
it.
Your gunned turret. I don't know. Oh, it's got Bosk in there. So Bosk, Boba Fett.
I know Boba Fett. I know.
Yeah,
Boba
these are
Fett.
the bounty hunters from Empire.
But
good stuff.
What's the aim of the game?
So you're basically trying to undermine the Empire, building up this army by doing various things. It's the usual stuff though. I mean, it's a Doom level game, so it's like go and find this data card and shoot a lot of things on the way, but it's just dead fun.
Is the plot twist that you're the bad guy?
Nope.
Oh. Has it got
Not
Ewoks
that.
in it?
What?
Has it got Ewoks in it?
I don't think so. I can't remember any Ewoks in it.
Is it Star Wars if it doesn't have Ewoks in it?
Yes, because there is most Star Wars does not have Ewoks in it. The problem is 100% of the Star Wars you've seen does have Ewoks in it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your stats are a bit skewed there, Liz. That's the problem.
In their caravan.
Yeah, of hope. Caravan. Fucking hell. So yeah, I love this game. The sequel, I think, arguably was better. It was a couple of years later. Well, no, I don't think it was better. I mean, it was just more modern. It was polygonal, and it was after. So, id were making Quake at the time that this came out, and Quake came out in '96, and that kind of blew up all of the Billboard style Doom clone engines. So everything from like Duke Nukem, Blood, which I talked about on another episode.
Yeah, I really want to play some Blood.
You've got to. It's so good. but Quake just made them look immediately antiquated because it was fully polygonal. So it was, even though it was kind of like, everything was basically like brown and green shades, and it was really super miserable and dark, but it was just an amazing change of style and technology. So this the sequel to this, Jedi Knight, followed in 97, and I'm pretty sure it was 97, and so that had a similar style. It had gone polygonal as well. The engine for that, the Sith engine that they made, was yes, it's
I love all names of these engines. These are great.
Yeah. So that franchise is what had kind of led on to all of these other Star Wars games. This was kind of the granddaddy of all of it, really. That's the reason why we have things like Battlefront and Jedi Fallen Order and all those kind of things.
Is that our friend Cal on the front?
That is a stormtrooper, Liz. You got your glasses on?
Yeah, but my eyes are watering.
What, just from the lovely memories?
Yeah, it's from the disappointment that I know no Star Wars. That's why it is.
You should watch them. I don't know why you don't watch them.
Vader, and that's about it.
Okay, so Liz, tell me about your game.
Shall I read the back of the box and you'll see if you can guess it?
Yes, good idea.
Oh, it's kind of got a bit of a nod to Star Wars, actually.
That's a weird description of the back of the box.
The demon killer strikes back, like the Empire.
Yeah. Demon killer.
The demon Sparta, definitely not my name on WhatsApp. Sired. Oh, lovely word.
Is it?
Yeah, isn't that? It's a nice word. The demon killer sired 2 half-human sons. While one fought the demons, the other one joined them. Now the brothers' paths must cross. 9 out of 10, an utterly unapologetic slice of raw gameplay. 9 out of 10 in the official PlayStation 2 magazine.
Is it DMC? Which
one?
Oh, I meant DMC as in Devil May Cry.
Oh,
DMC.
No.
I was gonna say that's more recent, isn't it?
Because in DMC, they're not half demon, half human. They're half human, half angel. They're Nephilim.
I mean, yeah, obviously. I mean, everybody knows that.
But so the evil twin is always the best twin, right?
Sure.
So this is the special edition where you get to play as the evil twin.
Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah.
Can you back it up a bit so I can actually see it? Okay, so for the listeners, Liz is showing Devil May Cry 3 on the PlayStation 2. What's the subtitle?
Zimmanuel. Dante's Awakening.
Dante's Awakening.
He's awake. Beautiful.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Dante.
Yeah.
Tell me about Devil May Cry 3.
If I'd have researched it, I could tell you. No. So Devil May
Cry, know about this game. Come on.
Devil May Cry 3. So it's the third one in the series.
I'm also going to fact check Liz as we go, just to see if she's right.
So in original Devil May Cry, Shinji Mikami, of the early 2000s, I did not research, so I don't know the exact date that the first Devil May Cry was released. You come across a boss called Nello Angelo.
2001.
And you get a feeling from your interaction that maybe you knew that Nello Angelo boss guy.
Okay.
Devil May Cry 2 happens. People are still like, who's this Nello Angelo guy? Devil May Cry 3 happens, and you get to meet your brother. And so Devil May Cry 3 is a prequel to the others, in which we find out how Dante becomes the demon slayer that we all know and love. and we find out what happened to his brother, who is Nello Angelo.
Okay, so you mentioned knowing and loving there. I don't know anything about the Devil May Cry series. Give me a quick idiot's guide to DMC, please.
So Devil May Cry was made by the legendary Shinji Mikami. It was originally going to be Resident Evil 4. So it's Resident Evil 3.5 that turned into Devil May Cry. And so Devil May Cry is a hack and slash, gothic romp, which is super fun. And it's your lead character is your iconic white hair, red coat, demon killer who's
Emo guy. Yeah.
quick-witted, a bit like, but nothing like, Bruce Campbell. Do you know how like Bruce is a little bit kind of cocky, overconfident, and has some like quips and quick lines? He's a bit like that, but instead of there being
so like Ash from Evil Dead.
That's who I meant. Who did I say?
You said Bruce Campbell.
Oh,
the
I meant
actor.
Ash. I meant the character he plays. I don't know what Bruce is like in real life, but he has.
I always think that he plays himself. He seems like that's who he might be. The only other thing I ever saw him in was Burn Notice, and he was exactly the same.
I like to hope he plays himself. He's great. Yeah, he's kind of like that, but you know, he's like your cocky womanizer, like confident.
And he's got a sword and a gun.
He's got a massive sword and 2 guns called Ebony and Ivory.
Because he loved the song, or?
Yeah, and he's just not, you know, no prejudice. And so yeah, so Virgil is the better brother, and you get to find out his origin story. So basically, their dad is the legendary Dark Knight Sparda, and because he fell in love with a human or an angel in the reboot, the demons condemned him, and they like chained him up and condemned him to hell for eternity. Well, the big evil demon Mundus did. So,
got it.
So the 2 brothers were separated, and Dante, knowing his demon heritage, started fighting the demons and favors being human. Virgil, finding out what happened to his father, blames the humans for it and is on the demon side. So they're like on opposite sides.
So wait, did Dante think that he was an orphan?
I can't remember, because since I've played, because A, I've not researched it, and B, since I played DMC, they both had amnesia and thought they were in a car crash and had no recollection of each other.
Sorry, they had amnesia and thought they were in a car crash.
Hey, I'm not a doctor, all right?
No,
it's just what the video games tell me.
Yeah.
But I genuinely can't remember what happens in this. I think they have some recollection of their mother in this, but one loves the mum and one loves the dad or something. I don't know. But the reason this is so good is because if you're a fan of the Devil May Cry series, it goes right back to the beginning, and it's like Dante's origin story. But also the first 2, the first one is really gothic and serious in places until Dante has his quips and says a few funny lines. Devil May Cry 2, I remember being really, really very serious, whereas Devil May Cry 3 just doesn't take itself seriously at all, and is just so charming, so enjoyable. It's almost a parody of itself. It's so over the top. There's even a bit where you get a sword, which is an electric guitar, and when you acquire it, Dante does a guitar riff for what feels like about 15 minutes.
He's just there tuning. Hold on, I'm just gonna I just give me a minute. I just want to show you this. I've been working on it. Bam, 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 bam. I've got it. Hang on. Oh no, how did it start? Bam, 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 bam. Oh no. Just wait. No button prompts.
No QTEs. And like there's a bit, so you've got Dante and Virgil in it, who in the main game you just play Dante, but then Virgil's Awakening Special Edition you play Virgil as well. But then other characters are Lady, who is trying to find out Pardon?
She's not a dog.
Oh no,
Different
she's
to
not
Disney.
a dog. She's a lady, and there's no tramps. And I think she's trying to find out what happened to her mother. Her mum's been murdered, and she's trying to find out what happens. And she has a massive rocket launcher on her back with a knife on the end, or like a sword on the end.
So it's so if the bazooka fails, someone gets close enough, you can be like,
Yeah. I mean, she's prepared, if not anything else. All right.
yeah.
That.
So lady, according to my sources, is Mary, and she's renounced her name and calls herself Lady. Is that right? Am I misreading this?
That is correct.
Got it. Okay.
That is correct. So when you meet her, she fires her bazooka at you. Oof. You know, and usually, maybe if this was Devil May Cry 1, Dante would bat it away and have some quip about his immortality or whatever. Maybe. In this, he jumps in the air, lands on the rocket, and rides it for about 15 minutes.
Whilst being like, I'm just tuning. Hold on.
Just go, woo!
Hold on.
It's just brilliant. It's just like, this is why I play games. I just want immense silliness that's just gonna, it's great. And the main bad guy in it is a jester who just kind of speaks in rhyme and just kind of like prances around a bit and threatens to spank you on your butt. It's really weird, but Devil May Cry.
What's that list? What are my top 2 favorite video game jesters? I'm glad you asked. So I find jesters really creepy. And
like this guy.
I'll tell you why. Well, I'll probably find this guy super creepy as well, but he's going to be my top 3. The other ones were, there's a guy in Streets of Rage 2 who's a jester, and if I'm remembering this right, it might be a clown, but basically he's a guy on a unicycle and he's like juggling knives, and then he'll like throw stuff at you. It might be a knife, might be like a flaming torch, but like he's just so annoying because he's just really smug. And then the other one who's really smug, I think jesters are just meant to be smug, is the guy from Encarta Mind Maze from 1996. Do you remember Microsoft Encarta?
I do remember Microsoft Encarta, but I don't remember the jester.
So Mind Maze in Encarta was this little, like, you basically were like, oh, to make sure kids have read their Encarta encyclopedia, we'll make a little quiz game where it's just like, you know, those like maze, like drawing and find your way through a maze game. Just to take every step, the little guy would pop up in the corner. He'd be like this, hold on. So this is only going to work if you're watching it on YouTube. But he'd just pop up in the corner and be like, well, I've got a question. And then the question would pop up here. And then you have like the 3D map in the background. You're like, step into the next room. But he was just a little like snidey little shit with all of his little trivia questions that he knew the answers to. But yeah.
The only other jester I can think of
jesters
is from Pandemonium.
Pandemonium, yeah. Was that on the Saturn? Or was that PlayStation
as well?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking because there was. Oh, I'm thinking of Knights, which is kind of a jester. Was it PS1?
Yeah, I think
so. Yes.
Like,
yes.
Is it Pandemonium? Have I been calling it Pandemonium all this year? Missing out the.
Yeah, I mean, Pandemonium it's an actual word. Means madness.
That's why I thought maybe they'd removed. So Arkham is your guy who turns into a jester. Yeah, okay. But he's not dressed up as the jester there.
Okay.
He's like Virgil's advisor and he flicks his nose. But the reason I love this game so much is because fan of the series, love an origin story. Second is the hot twin. The third...
You do love a hot twin.
Can I just say as well that I've played many a game and my favorite voice actor is the voice actor who voices Virgil in this, Daniel Southworth. Virgil has the hottest voice in any video game character ever. Love it.
Okay, well,
And that
everybody
is,
who's listening would have to go and listen to
yeah,
Devil May Cry 3 dialogue.
yeah, it's great. It's brilliant. Enjoy it. And then the last thing is just, I mean, not the last thing. The other thing is the silliness of it. I like that a well-established video game franchise loves itself enough to like almost poke fun at itself. There was just
cool.
something so.
There's something very confident about that, right?
Yeah, and it works really well, and it's just so enjoyable to play. And then the third is that, you know, as this evolved into the third Devil May Cry, the combat refined, the like the boss fights evolved, and just everything felt so cohesive in Devil May Cry 3. And
So they
every
kind of
fight,
hit their stride, kind of thing.
yeah, 100%. And like all the weapons in it would just flow effortlessly. All the bosses were all fun. There was, and then like you could, when you'd beat a boss, they would become a weapon.
Oh,
So
cool.
when you beat Cerberus at the beginning, you get this kind of like ice scythe whip thing. And then there's a boss that's 2 elements. I think it's fire and wind. I can't remember because I've not researched it. And then you get like 2 scythes of the elements. So like the bosses are memorable. The weapons that you get from it are memorable. Everything has this character and like volume to it that's just you just want to keep playing. It's just such a joy to play. It's my favorite Devil May Cry apart from the reboot.
And I think I just read somewhere, I'm just glancing around it, information about it. Is it out on the Switch?
Yes.
That's interesting. Maybe I'll play it on the Switch.
Honestly, this month, like March and April, have just been fantastic for games. And yeah, and I own 3 copies of this game.
So do you have it on the Switch as well?
And I have it on the Switch as well.
Good Lord. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's
Sorry,
like I'm looking at the platform list, and it's PlayStation 2, Windows, PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch.
As well.
That's a heck of a port history, isn't it? Really, pretty impressive.
So
when did the series start? Was it PS1 or PS2?
PS1? No, PS2. Sorry, Devil May Cry was PS2.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to hear Virgil talk?
Yeah, go on then.
Let me see.
I'm not sure whether that's actually going to be recorded on the thing, unless you can hear it out loud.
That's loud. What?
Why isn't this working?
Oh, he doesn't always
Is
shout.
there something missing? Must more blood be shed?
You seem to be in a bad mood.
Oh, that's Dante. But yeah, that was his voice. He's got such a lovely voice.
Well, he was saying you seem to be in a bad mood.
No, that was Dante. The guy before, he was like, must more blood be shed? He doesn't sound like that.
Well, what does he normally sound like? Give me a better example. I'm not sponsored by Ugly Drinks, by the way. There's no product placement in this.
What about this one?
What's his name? The brother?
This guy. Virgil.
Oh, yeah.
You sure? No drinks? I'm the only
Stop
babe just
talking,
left.
Dante.
My sincerest apology, brother. I was so eager to see you, I couldn't concentrate on preparations for the bash.
Lovely voice.
All I can hear is just really bad MIDI violins.
Oh,
So...
yeah, that's how he talks. Love it. I love his voice. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
I'm going to
sexy. Love it.
I think once I've finished Final Fantasy VII.
Back on DMC3.
Yeah, because I was halfway through Final Fantasy VIII again, but I don't know.
You just fancy a quick, exciting romp.
It's really
with a hot twin, as it were.
Lovely voice actor. Apparently, he voices Virgil in the latest Devil May Cry, but I haven't played it.
Okay. Well, Liz, it's been fun to do a little lockdown fierce feedback.
It has.
Even though we weren't prepared, and you definitely didn't mention that 18 times.
I didn't do Devil May Cry 3 justice, I'm afraid.
No. No, it's also not called that, but that's not a very good joke. Devil May Cry 3 Justice.
Great name, special edition.
Well, I don't know if I did Dark Forces justice either, but I love it.
Virgil has this really cool ability where he is, I think it's called Summon Swords. Am I getting it confused with Final Fantasy 15? I think it happens in both. But basically, he summons magical swords around him and then can just throw them wherever he wants. Yeah, I think it's in Devil May Cry 3 and Final Fantasy. It's like the limit break.
I can confirm Virgil has 2 ranges of attack: summoned swords, brackets, creating magical swords for a variety of effects, and judgment cut, creating spheres of force.
Oh, don't remember that one.
Yeah,
He's great. He's great.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this little hangout. Maybe we'll do another one. Maybe we'll research it this time. Who knows? Time will tell.
Maximum Style plays Virgil. Bye.
Bye, Liz. Bye, everyone. See you next time.